Welcome back to the most professional sports channel on YouTube. Welcome back to Swivel Chair Sports. I'm your host, Zach Zuckerberg Burkle, here riding solo this week because all the other guys got prior engagements. But please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Other than that, let's go ahead and get into it. So, in this video, we'll be looking at the upcoming matchup between the Kansas City Chiefs and the Miami Dolphins. In a game that'll take place this Saturday night at 7 p.m. in Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, Missouri. Temperatures that are expected to be, I believe the wind chill is going to be negative 19 or something like that. Absolutely brutally cold game for both teams, but Kansas City, you could say, has a little bit of an edge with them, being located there. Most of the players probably having more experience playing in that kind of weather. Whereas the Miami Dolphins, I don't know if you know where Miami is located, but it is located at the very south tip of Florida, where it is beautiful year-round, and negative 19 degrees in Miami, Florida would be cause for concern. At the very least, quite possibly cause for alarm. So, yeah, obviously not something the Miami Dolphins are typically used to playing in. But, nevertheless, they are a great team, and I believe they've been counted out preceding snow games before. Specifically, I believe a few years ago, before they had to travel up to Buffalo to play in a blizzard game, a lot of people were clowning them because obviously Miami Dolphins don't have snow, don't know how to play in snow. And then Miami proceeded to go up to Buffalo and whip the absolutely living tar out of Buffalo. And I may be exaggerating on that. I can't quite remember the details. But I do know Miami won. So my only concern is that we may be underestimating Miami in poor and cold conditions. So, other than that, though, all signs point to Kansas City winning this one. Obviously, they've got the experience edge. Only person really on Miami's team that's got loads of experience in the playoffs would be Melvin Ingram, former Chief, Tyreek Hill, also former Chief. So outside of those two, most of them, other than being there last year with this Dolphin squad, besides Tua, who was out, and then all the rookies, of course, and the new additions, these players aren't typically used to playing in the playoffs. Whereas the Chiefs have been here for 8 or 9 years straight, been to the AFC Championship game for like 5 years straight. They're used to playing in the playoffs. So not only do they have the experience in cold weather games, snow games, they have the experience in playoff games, period. Their quarterback has buttloads of playoff experience. Has only lost, I believe, 4 playoff games in his 15 attempts. You got the Super Bowl against Tom Brady. You got the AFC Championship game against Joe Burrow. AFC Championship game against Tom Brady. And then, is that it? Is it 11-3? That might be it. So yeah, Patrick Mahomes is pretty incredible, you could say. But his receivers, jury's out. Jury's still out, we'll say. And to be kind, because I'm in a good mood right now, we'll say the jury's still out on the receiving core as we enter the playoffs. So whether or not Patrick Mahomes can drag this Kansas City Chiefs team all the way to a Super Bowl, I don't know if that's the case. However, I do think he should be able to win this game, especially with a defense that is one of the best in the league at allowing points. I believe they are, and then they're number 2 in defensive yards allowed as well. So NFL defense rankings, points allowed. I believe they are top 3 at least. They're number two. So not only are they the second best defense in yards allowed, they're the second best defense in points allowed, only allowing 17.3 points a game. I believe only allowing 279 yards a game. In a snow game where it's already going to be difficult to move the football, I don't know how many points I expect Miami to score in this one. And assuming that Andy Reid knows what's good for him and runs the ball several times with Isaiah Pacheco, like he did 2 weeks ago, we should, in theory, win the game in fairly easy fashion, I would think. Not to say the Dolphins are bad, but they're banged up, especially on the defensive end. I believe they're down to only two defensive end, or two outside linebackers or ends or edge rushers or whatever position it is exactly. Melvin Ingram being one of those guys, which granted, Melvin Ingram was great in his heyday. He came over to Kansas City, won a ring with us, didn't really do a whole lot with us, but he won a ring with us. Before that, in L.A. with the Chargers, he was incredible. But he's a little over the hill. He's a little past his prime. He's a little old. He's a little old. I love him. I love him. I think he's a great player. But I don't know if you all watched this past weekend between the Bills and the Dolphins, but I saw that man in coverage against Dalton Kincaid, and I was like, what the hell is going on? So if that has to happen, if we see Melvin Ingram in coverage against Travis Kelce, oh my goodness gracious, are you kidding me? Travis Kelce's going to eat that man alive. I don't care if it's one time, I don't care if it's 5 times. Every single time, he will eat that man alive. But yeah, I also think the experience level, my kind of, I guess my word of the week is experience, because I'm gonna kind of lean towards every team with the more experience this week at least, because it is the first round of the playoffs. You know, there are gonna be those first playoff game jitters for some of these players. Tua Tagovailoa is gonna be in the first playoff game of his career. But then if you go back and look at the biggest games that he has played in, the games that have felt most like the playoffs throughout his career in the NFL so far, he has not been good. He has not been good. Last week, with a chance to win the division, get the 2 seed, played really, really bad. Last year, or the week before that, I should say, against Baltimore, with a chance to have control of the 1 seed, he played really, really bad. Last year, against, I'm not sure who, but in week 17, I believe he played really, really bad. And then the year before that, same thing. So, I find it hard to believe that he's going to all of a sudden find a clutch gene he hasn't had through the first 3 years of his career. Not saying he can't develop one. I just don't think he has one right now. And I don't think he's going to be able to go toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes, especially without Jalen Waddle. I think Tyreek Hill is going to try a little too hard. You know what I'm saying? I think he's going to try a little too hard, just like he did in Germany. Probably make a mistake, fumble the ball, Trim McDuffie, strip it right out of his hands, scoop and score. I don't know. But I find it hard to believe the Dolphins will come into Kansas City in negative 19-degree weather and beat us. I just do not see that happening. Again, not saying the Dolphins are a bad team. I think they're set up very well for the future. I just do not think they're ready yet. Give them another year or two, and then come back to Arrowhead, and we'll have a legitimate man-on-man duel. Just like the Chiefs have had with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, or Josh Allen and the Bills, or who they may end up having with this year, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. This is their first step, in my opinion, because last year doesn't really count because Tua wasn't there. This is going to be their first step towards, being up there on that same tier as the Buffaloes and the Cincinnatis and the Kansas Cities and the Baltimores. And if they prove me wrong and come out and beat the Chiefs, then hey, I'll come right back on here and say I'm sorry. Good for you guys, you know. Um, I just don't think this is. I just don't think they're ready yet. I don't think after what I saw from Tua this past week, I don't think he's quite ready. I think he's got some ironing out to do with his game. Um, I think with Jalen Waddle being out, it also kind of hurts, assuming he misses this one. And then let's not forget about all the injuries on the defense as well. They're not going to be at full strength whatsoever. I don't think it's going to be. It's not. It's not going to be a disappointing loss. You know, like the Dolphins should be going into this game not expecting to lose, but like, okay, if we lose this game, it's all right. You know, we made it to the playoffs. Sure, we would have liked to win a game, but we came in not close to fully healthy. This is some experience that we can use down the line. Next year, we'll be back. But I just don't think the Chiefs are going to lose this one. Assuming they feed Isaiah Pacheco like they should. If Isaiah Pacheco gets 18 plus carries, Chiefs win. If he gets 12, I'm going to be a little concerned. So let me go ahead and pull up the other guys' predictions real quick. We got Aaron, also with the Chiefs. And then we got Joe, also with the Chiefs. So once again, a matchup where we're all in lockstep. So yeah, other than that, I think that'll do it. Please make sure to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Deuces.